The invitation was ivory white, gold lettering, elegant calligraphy. You are cordially invited to celebrate the wedding of Chioma Nwosu and Marcus Thompson. Adaeze Okafor held it in her hands for a long time. Marcus. Her Marcus. The man who had gotten down on one knee in Herman Park 2 years ago. The man who had slipped a ring on her finger and promised her forever. Now marrying her best friend. Her former best friend. You're not actually considering going. Emmanuel's voice came from the doorway. Calm, concerned. She wants me there, Adaeze said quietly. She wants to watch me suffer. Then don't give her the satisfaction. Maybe I won't be suffering. Adaeze looked up at him. Maybe I'll be watching. Emmanuel walked into the room, sat beside her on the bed, took her hands in his. Ada, you don't have to prove anything to anyone. You've healed. You've moved on. We're happy. I know. She squeezed his hands. But there's something you don't know. What? Chioma didn't just steal Marcus. Adaze's voice hardened. She destroyed me on purpose. She lied. She manufactured evidence. She made him believe I cheated on him. Emmanuel went still. I found out 6 months ago. A friend of a friend heard Chioma bragging at a party, talking about how easy it was to break us up. Adaze's eyes filled with tears. She's been my best friend since we were 6 years old, Emmanuel, and she burned my life down for fun. Emmanuel said nothing for a long moment. Then he stood up. We're going to that wedding. Adaeze blinked. What? We're going. His voice was different now, harder, and we're going to smile. And we're going to look happy. And when the time is right, he turned to face her. The truth is going to come out. She thought the invitation was a power move. She had no idea it was the beginning of her destruction. Emmanuel made a phone call that night. Adaeze didn't hear the conversation, but she saw his face when he came back. I need to ask you something, he said. Anything. Do you want revenge, or do you want justice? Adaeze considered the question carefully. What's the difference? Revenge is about making her suffer. Justice is about making the truth known. Emmanuel sat beside her again. I can give you either one, but I need to know which one you want. Adaeze thought about Chioma, her smile at brunch while she was sleeping with Marcus behind Adaze's back, and her fake tears when Adaeze called crying after Marcus broke off the engagement, her performance of friendship while twisting the knife. Justice, Adaeze said finally. I want everyone to know what she did. I want Marcus to know the truth. And then, she took a breath. I want to walk away, with my head high, because I'm better than her, and I always was. Emmanuel smiled, that rare, transformative smile. That's my girl. He kissed her forehead. Start planning what you're going to wear, because when we walk into that wedding, every eye in the room is going to be on you. 3 weeks before the wedding, a man named Daniel arrived at Emmanuel's office. He was a private investigator, the best in Texas. I found everything, Daniel said, sliding a folder across the desk. Text messages, voice recordings, social media DMs, even a video of her bragging at a bachelorette party. Emmanuel opened the folder. Read for a long time. She really did all this. She did. Daniel shook his head. In 20 years of doing this job, I've seen a lot. But this woman systematically destroyed her best friend's relationship, manufactured fake texts from a fake number, told the fiancé that his woman was cheating, even hired an actor to pose as the other man, and made sure the fiancé saw them together. Emmanuel's jaw tightened. She hired someone? Paid him $5,000. He had no idea what it was really for. Thought it was for a prank show. Daniel leaned back. The fiancé, Marcus, he saw Adaeze hugging this actor outside a restaurant. That was the moment he believed everything Chioma had been telling him. Emmanuel closed the folder. Can you get the actor to testify? Already did. Written statement. Video confession. He felt terrible when he found out the truth. Daniel paused. The question is, what do you want to do with all this? Emmanuel looked out the window at the Houston skyline. I want to wait. I want to give Chioma her perfect day, her perfect wedding, her perfect moment. He turned back to Daniel. And then, I want to take it all away. They had been sisters by choice. Now Adaeze would discover that the sister had been a snake all along. Adaeze met Chioma on the first day of first grade. They were both 6 years old, both daughters of Nigerian immigrants, both terrified and alone in a classroom full of strangers. Chioma had been crying, Adaeze had shared her crayons, and just like that, they were inseparable. 23 years of friendship. Of birthday parties, sleepovers, high school drama, college applications, first heartbreaks, first jobs, first apartments. Adaeze had never questioned it, never doubted it. Chioma was her sister, her person, the one she called first with good news and bad news. She didn't know that Chioma had been keeping score the whole time. In high school, Adaeze got the lead in the school play. Chioma was her understudy. Adaeze didn't notice that Chioma stopped talking to her for 3 days. In college, Adaeze got accepted to the nursing program on her first try. Chioma got waitlisted. Adaeze didn't notice that Chioma's congratulations came through gritted teeth. When Adaeze started dating Marcus, Chioma was the first person she told. They stayed up all night talking about him, his smile, his ambition, his kindness. Adaeze didn't notice the way Chioma's eyes lingered on the photos. And when Marcus proposed, Chioma was the maid of honor. She planned the engagement party. She helped pick out wedding dresses. She was at every appointment, every tasting, every fitting. Adaeze didn't notice that Chioma was studying Marcus the whole time, watching him, waiting for her moment. The first lie came 3 months before the wedding. I hate to tell you this, Chioma said over coffee, her voice heavy with fake reluctance. But I saw something last night at that restaurant on Westheimer. What? Marcus, with a woman. Chioma reached across the table, took Adaze's hand. They were close, really close. Adaeze felt ice in her stomach. What woman? I don't know, I've never seen her before. Tall, pretty, and they were hugging when they left. Hugging? Adaeze shook her head. That could be anyone. A colleague, a cousin. Maybe. Chioma's eyes were wide with false concern. But the way they were looking at each other, I just thought you should know. The seed was planted. Over the next 2 months, Chioma watered it carefully. He seemed distant when I saw him yesterday. Is everything okay between you two? I don't want to worry you, but I saw him texting someone and smiling at dinner. Did he seem weird when he got home? I heard from a friend that he was at a hotel bar on Tuesday night. Weren't you working that night? Drip, drip, drip. Until Adaeze started looking at Marcus differently, started checking his phone, started asking questions, and Marcus, who had nothing to hide, started to feel suffocated, accused, confused. Oh, why don't you trust me anymore? He asked one night. What changed? Adaeze couldn't explain it. She didn't even understand it herself, but Chioma understood perfectly. The final blow came on a Saturday afternoon. Marcus was supposed to be at work, but Chioma had told him Adaeze wanted to meet at a restaurant downtown. A surprise. Don't tell her I told you. At the same time, Chioma told Adaeze she needed to meet her at the same restaurant. Urgent. Sister emergency. When Marcus arrived, he saw Adaeze standing outside, hugging a man he didn't recognize, laughing, touching his arm. He didn't know the man was an actor Chioma had hired. He didn't know the whole thing was staged. All he knew was what he saw, his fiancé, the woman he loved, in another man's arms. He drove away before Adaeze even noticed him. That night, He called off the engagement. Adaeze was blindsided, devastated. She had no idea what she had done wrong, and Chioma was right there, holding her while she cried, promising to help her through it. "Some men just can't be trusted," Chioma said, stroking her hair. "You'll find someone better, I promise." 3 months later, Chioma and Marcus were dating. "It just happened," Chioma explained. "We were both hurting. We found comfort in each other. I never meant for this to happen." Adaeze believed her, because that's what sisters do. She didn't learn the truth until much later, until it was almost too late. She was walking into enemy territory. But this time, she wasn't the prey. The wedding was at a restored plantation estate 40 minutes outside Houston. 300 guests, a 20-piece orchestra, a flowers imported from Colombia, a dress that cost more than most people's cars. Chioma had wanted the world to see her victory. She was about to get her wish. Adaeze stepped out of Emmanuel's black Range Rover. Her emerald dress caught the afternoon sun. Her natural hair was sculpted into an elegant updo adorned with gold. Her makeup was flawless. Her posture was perfect. She looked like a queen. Emmanuel walked around the car, took her hand. His navy suit was understated but clearly expensive. His presence was magnetic without trying. "Ready?" he asked. "Ready." They walked toward the entrance together. Guests turned, whispered. Adaeze heard her name ripple through the crowd. "Is that Adaeze? Marcus's ex? Why would she come? This is so awkward. Who's that man with her? He's gorgeous." Adaeze kept her eyes forward, kept her head high. Let them whisper. Walking into your ex's wedding takes courage. Walking into your best friend's wedding to your ex, that takes something else entirely. But Adaeze wasn't here to make a scene. She wasn't here to cry. She wasn't here to prove she wasn't over it. She was here to watch the truth come out. If you've ever wanted to see a liar exposed in front of everyone they know, you're in the right place. Keep watching, and if you're not subscribed yet, hit that button now. Because stories like this don't come around every day. The ceremony was beautiful. That's what made it so painful. Adaeze sat in the third row, Emmanuel beside her, her mother 2 seats down. She watched Marcus stand at the altar, watched him smile as Chioma walked down the aisle. But she remembered standing in that exact position in her dreams, Marcus waiting for her, their future spread out before them. Now she was watching someone else live that dream, but she wasn't sad. She was waiting. Chioma saw Adaeze during the ceremony. Their eyes met across the crowd. Chioma's smile faltered for just a moment. She hadn't expected Adaeze to actually come. The invitation had been a power move, a final twist of the knife. "Look what I have. Look what you lost." But Adaeze was here, looking stunning, on the arm of a man who looked like he belonged on a magazine cover. Something flickered in Chioma's chest, something unfamiliar, fear. She pushed it away, turned back to Marcus, smiled brighter. "She's just trying to save face," Chioma told herself. "She's dying inside. She has to be." The ceremony continued, and the vows were exchanged. The rings were placed. "I now pronounce you husband and wife." The crowd applauded, and Chioma allowed herself to breathe. She had won. Finally. Completely. Or so she thought. The champagne was flowing. The music was playing. And fate was about to collect its debt. The reception was held in a grand ballroom. Crystal chandeliers. White roses on every table. A 12-tier wedding cake that could feed an army. Chioma had spared no expense. This was her coronation. She floated through the room like royalty, accepting congratulations, posing for photos, basking in the attention. Every few minutes her eyes found Adaeze, still there, still smiling, still on the arm of that mysterious man. Who is he? Chioma wondered. Why does everyone keep looking at him? She noticed how guests gravitated toward Emmanuel, and how men shook his hand with respect, how women lingered near him. Something was wrong. She could feel it. But she pushed the feeling down. Tonight was her night. Nothing could ruin it. Marcus found himself at the bar. He should be happy. This was his wedding day. His new wife was beautiful. The party was perfect, but he couldn't shake the feeling in his gut. The feeling that something was wrong. He watched Adaeze across the room. She was laughing at something her date said. Her whole face lit up when she laughed. He remembered that laugh. He remembered how it used to be for him. Why did I believe Chioma? The question had haunted him for months. He had never actually seen proof of Adaeze cheating, just Chioma's word. Just that one moment outside the restaurant. And Adaeze had sworn she didn't know that man, and had begged him to believe her. He hadn't listened. "You okay, man?" Marcus turned. His best man, Derek, was beside him. "Yeah, just taking it all in." Derek nodded, but his eyes said something else. "Look, I wasn't going to say anything, not today, but—" Derek glanced around, lowered his voice. "There's something you should know." "What?" "That guy with Adaeze, do you know who he is?" "No. His name is Emmanuel Adeyemi. He's the founder of Paystream." Marcus frowned. "The app?" "The app. The company. The whole thing." Derek's eyes were serious. "He's worth $400 million, Marcus, and he's engaged to your ex-fiancé." Marcus felt the room tilt slightly. "Engaged?" "That's not the crazy part." Derek moved closer. "He asked to give a toast." "What?" "He asked me. Said he wanted to say a few words." I told him that's not really appropriate, but—" Derek shook his head. "Your new mother-in-law approved it. Said Chioma wants everyone to speak who wants to speak." Marcus felt ice in his veins. "When?" "After the best man speech. After mine." Derek looked at him. "I don't know what's about to happen, man, but I thought you should know." 300 people were about to witness the truth, and Chioma couldn't run. The clinking of glass silenced the room. Derek stood at the microphone, gave a warm, funny best man speech. Stories about Marcus, jokes about marriage, wishes for happiness. The crowd laughed, applauded. Then Derek stepped back. "And now," he said, glancing briefly at Marcus, "we have one more speaker, Emmanuel Adeyemi." Chioma's head snapped up. "What?" She looked at her mother. Her mother shrugged. Why is Adaze's date giving a toast at my wedding?" She wanted to object, but 300 people were watching. She couldn't make a scene, so she smiled, tightly, and watched Emmanuel walk to the microphone. Emmanuel stood at the podium. He looked out at the crowd, at Marcus, at Chioma, and finally at Adaeze. She nodded, almost imperceptibly. He began. "Good evening, everyone. For those who don't know me, my name is Emmanuel Adeyemi. I'm here as the guest of Adaeze Okafor." Murmurs in the crowd. "Now, I know what you're thinking. Why is the ex-fiancé's date giving a toast at this wedding? It's unusual. Some might say inappropriate." He paused. Let the tension build. "But I promise you, by the time I'm finished, you'll understand exactly why I'm standing here." Chioma's smile was frozen. Her hands were gripping the table. I met Adaeze 8 months ago, at a charity event for children's hospitals. She was volunteering, helping sick kids, asking nothing in return." Emmanuel's voice softened. "That's when I knew she was special." He looked at Adaeze, love visible in his eyes. "Over the next few months, I fell deeply in love with her. But I also learned about her past, about a broken engagement, about a betrayal by someone she considered a sister." The room went quiet. Adaeze told me she had accepted it, moved on, forgiven, and I believed her. I still believe her. Emmanuel's voice hardened slightly. "But I couldn't accept it. Because you see, I come from a family that values truth above all else. And I knew that the story didn't make sense." Chioma stood up. "I'm sorry, but this is completely inappropriate. This is my wedding, and I don't—" Sit down, Chioma. Emmanuel's voice was quiet, but it carried the weight of absolute authority. Chioma hesitated, looked around, saw 300 faces watching. Slowly, she sat. Emmanuel continued. I hired an investigator, the best in Texas, and I told him to find the truth, no matter what it was, even if it proved that Adaeze had actually done what she was accused of. He reached into his jacket, pulled out a phone. He found the truth. Every lie she had ever told was about to play on speaker, in front of everyone she had ever wanted to impress. Emmanuel held up the phone. What I'm about to play was recorded at Chioma's bachelorette party 3 weeks ago by a server who was offered $500 to keep her phone recording. Chioma's face went white. She wasn't recording for me. She didn't know me. She was recording because she thought it might be interesting content. Emmanuel's smile was cold. She was right. He pressed play. Chioma's voice filled the ballroom, clear, unmistakable. Girl, it was so easy. Adaeze is so stupid, so trusting. I just kept whispering in her ear and she started doubting him. And then I whispered in his ear and he started doubting her. Laughter on the recording. Her friends, her bridesmaids. And the actor? Oh my God, that was genius. $5,000, and Marcus saw exactly what I needed him to see. How did you know they'd be at that restaurant? Because I sent them there. I told Adaeze to meet me. I told Marcus to surprise her. All I had to do was make sure the actor was hugging her when Marcus arrived. More laughter. And now look at me. I'm marrying the man of her dreams in a wedding that costs more than her annual salary, and she's going to have to watch and smile. The recording ended. Silence. Absolute silence. Emmanuel put the phone away. There's more. Text messages where she admits to creating a fake phone number to send Marcus false evidence, video of her paying the actor, a written confession from the actor himself. He looked at Marcus. But I don't think you need to see any more, do you? Marcus was frozen. His face was ashen. He turned to Chioma. Is this true? Chioma's mouth opened, closed, opened again. Marcus, baby, you have to understand. Is this true? His voice echoed through the ballroom. Chioma started to cry, real tears this time. I loved you, she whispered. I loved you so much. And she had you. Oh, she always had everything. The grades, the career, the man. I just wanted... You wanted what wasn't yours. Marcus stood up. His chair fell backward with a crash. You destroyed my relationship. You made me believe the woman I loved had betrayed me. You let me hate her. He turned to Adaeze. Their eyes met across the room. Ada, his voice broke. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I should have believed you. I should have trusted you. Adaeze stood up, calm, composed. Marcus, he stopped. I forgive you. The room gasped. You were manipulated by someone you trusted. We both were. Adaeze walked toward him, slowly, gracefully. I spent a year hating you. Then I spent another year healing. And now, she stopped a few feet away. Now I'm grateful. Because if you hadn't left, I wouldn't have found Emmanuel. I wouldn't have found myself. I wouldn't have become the woman I am today. She looked at Chioma. I don't forgive you for what you did, but I release you. Your jealousy, your cruelty, your lies. They don't belong to me anymore. Adaeze turned back to Emmanuel, took his hand. I have everything I need. And you? She looked at Chioma one last time. You have exactly what you deserve. She had dreamed of this day for years. Now it was her nightmare. The ballroom erupted. People stood up, shouting, pointing, demanding explanations. Chioma's mother was screaming at her. You told me Adaeze cheated. You told me Marcus discovered it. You lied to me. Chioma's bridesmaids were backing away. The same women who had laughed on the recording, now terrified of being associated with her. I can't believe we helped plan this wedding, one of them hissed. You're a monster! Marcus stood in the center of the chaos, lost, broken. Marcus, please! Chioma grabbed his arm. We can work through this. We're married now, for better or worse, remember? Marcus looked at her hand on his arm. Then he looked at her face. This marriage is over. What? I'm calling my lawyer tomorrow. Annulment. Fraud. His voice was cold now, certain. You deceived me into marrying you. That makes this whole thing void. You can't... Watch me. He pulled his arm away, walked toward the exit. Chioma ran after him, her massive wedding dress catching on chairs, her perfect makeup running down her face. Marcus! Marcus! He didn't look back. The doors closed behind him, and Chioma stood there, alone, out in the middle of her perfect wedding, surrounded by 300 witnesses to her destruction. The guests began to leave, some with disgust, some with pity, some with the giddy excitement of people who had just witnessed the scandal of the decade. This is better than Real Housewives, someone whispered. I always knew something was off about her. Did you see Adaeze? She looked amazing. Who's the guy she's with? Someone said he's worth millions. Chioma sat at the head table, alone. Her mother had left in shame. Her bridesmaids had disappeared. Her new husband, her soon-to-be ex-husband, was gone. The orchestra had stopped playing. The waiters were clearing plates. And Chioma's perfect day had become her perfect destruction. Tunde approached her, her brother, the one person who hadn't left. Chi. She looked up. A mascara streaked down her face. I knew. She blinked. What? I knew what you did. I saw some of the texts, months ago. His voice was heavy with shame. I should have said something. But you're my sister. I thought maybe I was wrong. Tunde. I gave Emmanuel's investigator access to your cloud backup. He looked away. That's how he got the texts, from me. Chioma stared at him. You betrayed me. No, Chi. Tunde finally met her eyes. You betrayed yourself. A long time ago, I just helped the truth come out. He stood up. I hope you find help. Real help. But I can't be around you anymore. He walked away, and Chioma was truly alone. The wedding was over. The marriage was over. But for some, it was just the beginning. Adaeze stood on the balcony of Emmanuel's house. The sun was rising over Houston, orange and gold spreading across the sky. She hadn't slept. Too much adrenaline. Too many emotions. But she wasn't tired. She was light. For the first time in 2 years, the weight was gone. Emmanuel found her there. He wrapped his arms around her from behind, rested his chin on her head. How do you feel? Free. He nodded. Good. They stood in silence for a while, watching the sunrise. Thank you, Adaeze said finally, for everything. The investigation, the evidence. Standing up there in front of all those people. I would do it 1,000 times. Emmanuel turned her to face him. You deserved the truth, Ada, and Marcus deserved to know who he was really marrying. Do you think he'll be okay? I don't know. Emmanuel was honest. He has a lot to process, a lot to regret. But that's his journey now. Adaeze nodded. I looked back at the sunrise. I meant what I said, about being grateful. She touched her engagement ring, Emmanuel's ring. If Chioma hadn't done what she did, I might have married Marcus. And I never would have found you. You would have been happy with him. Maybe, but I wouldn't have been this. She struggled for words. Complete. He would have been a good husband, but you're my partner, my equal, my person. Emmanuel smiled, that rare, transformative smile. So Chioma accidentally did you a favor. The universe has a strange sense of humor. Adaeze laughed softly. She tried to destroy me, and instead she gave me everything I ever wanted. Across town, in a five-star hotel suite, Chioma sat on the edge of a bed, still in her wedding dress, still wearing her perfect makeup, now ruined. Her phone buzzed. Again. And again. Messages from friends, from colleagues, from distant relatives. Is it true what happened? I can't believe you would do that. Don't ever contact me again. Her social media was exploding. Someone had recorded Emmanuel's speech. It was everywhere now. Hashtag wedding karma. Hashtag best friend betrayal. Hashtag the toast that destroyed her. Millions of views, thousands of comments. She got exactly what she deserved. This is the most satisfying video I've ever seen. Adaeze is a queen. Chioma threw the phone across the room. It shattered against the wall. But the comments kept coming. The world kept watching. And there was nothing she could do to stop it. She had wanted everyone to see her wedding. Now everyone had. 1 month later, Adaeze and Emmanuel stood on a beach in Lagos, not for their wedding. Just for joy, just for love, just because they could. Her mother was there, Emmanuel's parents, a few close friends. No drama, no performance, no 300 witnesses, just them. Are you happy? Emmanuel asked. Adaeze looked at the ocean, at the sunset, at the ring on her finger. I spent 2 years thinking Chioma stole my happiness, that Marcus was my only chance at love, that I would never recover from what happened. She turned to face him. I was so wrong. She didn't steal anything. She just cleared the path. Emmanuel took her hand. To everything she tried to destroy. And everything we built instead. They kissed as the sun went down. And somewhere in Houston, a woman in a ruined wedding dress was learning that you can't build happiness on someone else's tears. Eventually, fate collects its debt. And when it does, the interest is always more than you can pay. Chioma spent 20 years pretending to be Adaeze's sister. She smiled at her birthdays, cried at her engagements, held her when she was broken, all while plotting to take everything she had. But here's what Chioma didn't understand. You can steal a fiancé. You can steal a wedding. You can even steal a future that was supposed to belong to someone else. But you can't steal happiness. Because happiness isn't something you take. It's something you build. And everything built on lies eventually collapses. Today, Chioma has nothing. No husband, no friends, no reputation. And Adaeze? She has Emmanuel. She has peace. She has everything she thought she lost. And more. That's not luck. That's fate. If you believe that truth always surfaces, if you believe that the patient eventually prevail, if you believe that what's meant for you cannot be stolen, then you're in the right place. Subscribe, hit that notification bell, because here, every villain falls, every underdog rises, and the truth always comes out. The next story is coming, and the betrayal might cut even deeper.